Effect, a retail podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm your host, Meredith.
And I'm your host, Cass.
Let's have some fun.
Well, I say a lot.
Ugh, and my laugh is just, I'm so sorry, everyone. 150,000 episodes later, and you've had to listen to my voice and my laugh. How many people sent me a message and said, oh my God, it's your last episode?
Oh my God, it was so funny.
Oh man.
You know,
hope we didn't lose anybody because they were like, forget these chicks, and they shut us off before listening to what happened.
I saw Tyler and Kendra over the weekend, and they were like, what's up with your last episode? And they're both like, we haven't finished it yet. You know, like we started it, but then we got doing to something, whatever. And I was like, well, you're going to have to listen to find out.
Marcella just did the same thing. She's like, I've been holding out because I know this is your last
Oh,
episode.
God.
And I wrote back like a laughy,
Yeah.
emoji or whatever. And then she wrote back, oh, okay, I
that's
get
so
it.
funny.
I get it.
That's funny.
What number am I on?
I don't know.
Way too loud today. I'm just
Get
obnoxious.
out. No, you're not. You got to compete with my voice and laugh.
No. So I was thinking, so I'm writing a book. Right? I'm only on page like 22. I have 3,300 words. I looked up today what is the average word count for a book? It's 90,000. I'm like, wow, I got a lot more to go.
Dude, why are you such an overachiever?
No.
You make me
It's
feel
so
like I don't do
good.
anything.
I cannot wait to share it with you. And even if no one wants to publish it, I'm doing it on my own, probably like through Amazon or something, because it is so great. It's just so much learning. It's fun.
You are wild.
So as I was doing that, I was thinking to myself, something came up and I was like, oh, this is just very temporary. This is just very temporary. And that's the first time I've ever said that, like about a job or about something that was happening. And I thought to myself, I wonder if there's a lot of people that just are having a really hard time at work and they're starting to think that they need to move on. But when do you get to that point where you're like, okay, this is just going to be temporary because I'm going to find something else.
Right.
When do I know it's time to quit? So I just want to kind of go through all of that.
I went through that very hardcore when I quit the place that we worked at and started at the place that I work at now.
Yeah.
Because it was 10 years at that other place, and I was very comfortable, and my job wasn't terribly hard.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
I was also very comfortable. At my last two jobs, I was very comfortable. But I guess the question is, when did you know you were done? Did something happen?
You had approached me a few times. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what happened? One of the main reasons I quit and moved on was COVID.
Oh, okay.
Like I quit in the middle of the pandemic, and I was terrified. Like, am I making the right choice?
Yeah.
Like, what if I hate it?
Yeah.
But I didn't think that anything could be worse than people bickering inside of the store about whatever, mask wearing, what they believe in, what they don't believe in. It was just, I didn't make enough money for that.
Right.
I decided the fourth time you asked me to come to the other side, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm so done with this shit.
I just remember always texting you like, there's an opening.
Yeah.
There's an opening.
I was like, nope, I'm not ready yet. Nope, I like my job.
Yeah. And I'm sure we've talked about this before, like just little bits and pieces with all our 150 episodes. But for me, it was just that last year. It was about 12 months worth. Every time something happened, I thought to myself, well, next year I won't be here.
Yeah.
Well, next year I won't be here.
Yeah.
And like something would happen to a customer. I know I've mentioned this before, the customer on New Year's that was so mad. It was 11:15 at night and it was New Year's and he was yelling at me because we didn't have any bacon.
Yeah.
Like everyone came to get their bacon earlier.
Yeah.
And he had that mouse of a wife that stood behind him. I thought, wow, he is not nice to you, and I can tell.
Yeah.
And he was trying not to be nice to me. And right after that, I thought, next year at this time, I will not be here.
I know. I think you definitely took me surprised both times you quit your job.
Oh, really?
Since I've known you.
Really?
Well, definitely the second time because you left me where I am now, and I was like, thanks, bitch. You made me come over here. Now you're leaving me.
I feel like when I left our place where we met, it was like 50-50 of people were surprised that I was leaving. And then other people were like, yeah, no, you need to go.
Yeah. Well, you were
in a good way. Like you need to go.
Right.
You
were too talented for that job. You were way like, what do they call that? That job did not bring out your best abilities. Like you were great because you're competent and you're a working person.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's kind of what you need in the retail industry is you need people that'll work, you know.
Yeah.
It does not go well when you got a bunch of lazy assholes that don't want to do their job and they just pass the buck.
Yeah.
I hate that. So you were very good at your job, but you were way overqualified for that job.
I just sometimes will get text messages from other people that work in stores, retail, and they'll say something like, well, I wasn't there yesterday, so of course this didn't get done. Or
Right.
what? And I just listen because I totally understand
Yep.
what they're going through.
Yep.
Like they're the ones that
Yeah. I get that a lot now because I walk
Overachieve or-
in and there's certain things that I have to do. And the managers generally, sorry, I keep getting a tickle in my throat. I don't know if it's like allergies. Anyways.
you can't be getting sick. You're going on vacation in 3 days.
I've been on vacation all freaking month. Okay. But a lot of times the managers will be like, yeah, I know you're here to do that. And it's been a shit show because I had the last 2 days off. So give me a minute.
Yeah,
you know?
like they
yeah.
hopefully relaxed on their 2 days, but then you come back to just so much
It just
stress.
falls to shit.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I liked about working retail is I usually had Wednesday, Sunday off.
Mm-hmm.
So my days weren't together, you know, because you took off like a whole week. You paid for it when you came back. Like
Yeah.
it was just total bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody did anything while you were gone.
That's a great point because if you are going to stay where you're at, just expect that things aren't going to get done when you're
Right.
off for a week, but also get your mindset like, okay, I'm going to have a lot to do when I get back, let's say
Yeah.
on Monday,
Yeah.
right? Or Sunday, the
I
start
always-
of the
yeah.
work week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on this vacation for a week. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to think about it. But then your mindset needs to be, I'm just going to have a whole bunch of stuff to do on Sunday.
I know.
Also appreciate the stuff that does get done too, I guess.
Right.
Small, even if it's small, it's still something you don't have to do.
It's never the right stuff.
I know. It never is. Well, no, of course not.
How could you just walk past this but pick up that?
Okay, I'm totally guilty of that. Years ago, I was like in the back room, I'm walking, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then my boss walked up, he's like, it's right there. Why didn't you do
there.
it yesterday? I'm like, oops. I'm the jerk.
Okay, but that's right now. We have to set up these shippers, right? These,
Oh, okay.
These,
I feel like you're always setting up shippers.
dude, it's my life. I'm folding cardboard. It's my life. These are actually permanent displays, so it's a little bit nicer. It's metal. It's not cardboard. But it's like I'm walking up and down the back room. Where the hell are these things? And I'm asking this manager, and I'm asking the receiver, and they're all going, I saw them, but I don't know where somebody stuck them. And sure enough, it was the first door I walked into. They were behind that door.
Of course.
I was looking for 40 minutes. I'm like, come on.
Well, you go and look at the rafters.
Yeah.
You don't look behind
right.
a door.
Right. No, hell no.
I remember during the holiday season, during COVID, I sold in a whole bunch of cookies.
Yeah.
But with the cookies came either pallet drops or displays.
Yeah.
So we had to go in. And you would think that because of COVID, everything was empty in the back room.
Yeah.
And somehow these things were hiding.
Just sitting back there somewhere.
And then, you look up at a pallet and there's nothing on it. So you're like, okay, could that be it? And then you have to wait for someone with the forklift because we weren't allowed to use the forklift at the second job, right? So then you have to wait and then they bring it down. You're like, oh, that's just stackable chairs.
Yeah.
Or it was, Halloween candy for
Nonsense.
next year.
Yeah.
Or actually at COVID, they probably would have put it out anyways
Yeah.
because everyone was buying everything. So that's funny that you mentioned like I just needed to grow or like you as well, just needed to do something
Yeah.
different or grow because the number one, this is from Coursera.com. It says 5 signs that you're ready for a new opportunity. And number 1 is you want room to grow.
Yeah. And it actually, I feel like when I left the old job and came to this one, I degressed.
Okay.
Right? Because I was in charge of everybody at my last
Yeah.
job and I had to make the decisions. I was responsible for whatever anybody did. And now I'm like, I'm just responsible for myself. And I've talked about that on here before.
Yep.
You are like, you're a go-getter where I'm just like level. Like I just need my job because it buys me the things I want in life.
Well, you're happy where you're at.
Yeah.
So why push
Right.
yourself
Yeah.
out of a comfort zone that
Yeah.
you're very good at?
Yeah. Because when you left, you were like, would you be interested in my job? And I was like, hell no. I hear all these people complaining all the time and talking shit about each other. I don't want to deal with that again.
And I think I've said this before that you feel like you digressed or stepped down or whatever, but in the store, I feel like you do kind of manage people in a way. Like you're
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm here for this. Where is
Right.
this? Like
Right.
it is kind of like you're managing the
Yeah.
store that you're in at the
Yeah.
time in a way.
Yeah. Well, I feel like my managing style, I've always been your friend.
Yeah,
Which
right,
a lot
right.
of people
Let me
say
do
that's
this with
a
you.
bad thing, but right.
Mm-hmm.
I never once asked somebody to do something that I had not already done myself. We've talked
Yeah.
about this a lot
Yep.
too. If the toilets were clogged, I would go in there and plunge them, But if I was busy, I'd be like, "Hey, go plunge the toilet," So I do try to manage as a friend and as a coworker, not a boss. I never liked being the boss.
Yeah.
I hated when people would be like, "Well, what do you want to do about this?" Like, it's not that hard. Figure it out.
Right.
I hated micromanaging.
Yeah.
I was never a micromanager.
Mm-hmm.
If I saw it needed to be done, I just did it.
Yeah.
And if you see me doing it, then you should know that you should be doing it too.
Yeah. Hop on in.
I just said the other day too, because I don't remember what the situation was, but this younger guy, he said, "Well, I don't want to do that because once I do it, it becomes your job, right?" And he goes, "Yeah."
It's true. It's true.
Once somebody sees you sweeping the floor, now you're the floor sweeper.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to do it,
Yeah.
So that was always the worst too.
That's true. So if you're thinking about leaving your job because you want room to grow, here's some thoughts from this website. You're beyond the inability to move up in your company.
I think that happens a lot. I think a lot since the pandemic, people have learned that every 2 or 3 years, if you want more than 2 or 4% raise, you just got to go get a new job.
Yeah. It says lack of growth potential might also look like a lack of opportunity to build your skill. So someone that wants to continue learning in the work atmosphere, I'm done where I'm at.
You.
Then you might want to.
That's a
move
lie.
on.
You're not done where you're at, because if you had the opportunity to move up, you would take it. Because you're that person.
It also says, if your company doesn't encourage expanding your skills as an employee, consider looking for a new employer.
Well, our favorite store director, I think, definitely pushed both of us to take on larger roles.
Yep.
He believed in us, and I think that helps. If
And then
you
he left
have
our asses.
Well, just like
for
he
his
did to me.
for his big and better as
right,
well.
exactly. So, can you be mad at him for that? No.
No. It also says if you can or will gain some certifications, expand your education if you want, if you think it would benefit where you're going. So.
Yeah.
Number 2 says you're experiencing problems with a supervisor or boss.
You dealt with that more than I did.
I did. I have mentioned that before, that I had a boss that would schedule herself off on the holidays, and I worked, and I had the younger kids, and there was no consideration into a work-life balance.
But they had grandkids.
Yeah. Did they? I don't even know.
Yeah. So, I want to spend time with my grandkids. You already had time raising your kids.
Yeah. It would be like you're working Thanksgiving, you're working Black Friday, you're working Saturday, and then you'll close on Sunday and then have Monday off.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then they take a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
That was part of that 1 year where it was like, I'm not going to be here next year. Like, I knew it. I didn't know what was going to happen because I didn't know about anything till about a month before it actually happened.
Yeah.
Our friend up in
how-
Wisconsin called
is
and
that
said,
how
you want
you
an
got it?
opportunity?
I was wondering how you got the job
He
there.
is still there with you.
Yeah.
Works with you.
Yeah.
Yep. I think I got a Facebook message. that said,
Really?
hey, I think I have an opportunity for you. Yeah, he reached out to a couple people, and I ran with it.
Good
My
for
first
you.
interview with the company was fantastic. Like, I remember her name was Beth. She's no longer there. She left like just a couple weeks after I started. She was the kindest person, but was very direct. Like, tell me about your day. And then I would say how my day was, and she'd be like, amazing. Okay.
I would be like,
tell me what you do.
My day was great. Thank you for asking.
How many people do you manage? And I would tell her, she'd be like, fantastic. This is a great match. She was just so great.
Yeah. I
But-
feel like my interview with my boss now was pretty good.
Yeah.
And we just talked about the other day.
So funny.
Okay, because I think we talked a little bit about this on the last episode. He had sent me an email and a word was misspelt. And he emailed everybody and said, oh, this correction. And me and you were laughing because we did my resume, my resume. My sister helped me with my resume. I've literally fallen into every job I've had, right? I've never had a resume, so I had to make one. And one of like the major words, underlined, bold, was spelt incorrectly. And we laughed about it at my interview. And then when he sent me that email and like, oh, nope, this is a correction. I'm like, better than my resume. And he got a good laugh out of that. You know, he remembered that.
So if you are experiencing problems with a supervisor or boss, it's probably time to move on because
it's not going to get
better. As we
better.
know, it probably won't get better unless they leave. And like for me, I was hoping someone would leave. So I did hang on for a year or two and they are actually still there.
Yes.
So I would have been not so happy for many, many
Miserable.
years. Yeah. So, I mean, just think about your day. And if things are causing heartache and you're coming home stressed and bringing it home and it's because of a superior, get out of there.
I feel like
get out of there if you can.
People think that they're stuck in their career or job or whatever you want to call it. And there's so many opportunities out there. I know somebody else, one of our friends, that left the grocery store and went into a vending business. And they said, oh my gosh, I don't work weekends anymore. I don't work holidays. I didn't know this existed, and it was like, there is other things out there. Start reaching out to people.
So I'll just share it. So I'm over 40. I'm in my 40s. And when I moved a couple years ago, I actually was seeing a therapist. It was so bad because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I felt stuck. I felt like I was too old to go find something else.
Yeah.
I really loved where I was at.
Right.
I was just having problems with a couple people.
Right.
And everybody had to hear about it. I feel so bad. It was just not good. And I knew that I was causing some negative vibes and stuff, you know what I mean? But then I was also trying to save everyone, and it was just exhausting. I wasn't sleeping. I was doing everything. At one point, I was doing 3 roles. So I knew it. So I was actually at my therapist, and I said, but I'm not going to be able to find anything else. Everybody's looking for a master's in biology or this or that.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, first of all, we're going to work on your self-confidence because obviously you've had management roles before. I don't know why you're not looking for a management role now. You have the experience, people will hire. And I mean, sure enough, the opportunity just came around. So if you're older or if you just don't feel like, if you're stuck, because maybe you're thinking a lot less on yourself.
Right.
When really you're very good at what you do.
Right.
And another
you are
company.
Capable.
Yeah,
you are capable.
Another company may be very lucky to have you. So.
Yeah.
And I was, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say again with wage, they may lowball you and you're going to take it because you were lowballed before and they're totally happy with that.
I was just watching a TikTok and I think he was a career coach or something. He just so happened to be on our algorithm. And he said that he suggests to people not to stay at the same job or role for more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Because if you go somewhere else, they're going to offer you just a little bit possibility. God, I took Benadryl today. So sorry. Fuck. Possibility that they're going to offer you more.
Right.
Or it's just going to be, just getting around new people.
Yeah.
And just expanding your...
I walked away from my job of 10 years and walked into a new role. Completely, I shouldn't say completely different. It's still retail, but completely different dynamic of work. And I walked into making more money.
Yeah.
And I never thought that was possible. I thought I had it so good at that job and I shouldn't quit because who's going to pay me more than this?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Everybody pays more than that.
Yep. They do.
It's crazy.
And I feel like especially now, they want good people with experience and just try it. Who's to say that putting out your resume or giving a few phone calls, you don't know the opportunity.
Right.
And then can we also just mention, I have never burned any bridges.
Right.
Never.
Yeah. I've always,
I
won't say.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I won't say I've never burned a bridge, but I made sure it wasn't one that I wanted to cross again.
Sure.
Although I think a lot of people could say they've never intentionally done it, but there's definitely some out there that are like,
oh, there's people that have walked out with their middle finger and they're like, fuck this place. I mean, that's burning a bridge, but you know what? They probably weren't treating you good.
That's one, I said, that they probably don't want to cross again. So no big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal.
So we actually, I'm going to go back to the Coursera here in a second, but we actually had asked everyone last week before we both realized we were traveling and stuff and said, how did you know it was time to leave your job? So we do have
we got some people answer.
There's like 40 comments on
nice.
here. So let's get through a few of them.
Because you guys know I'm not on social media, so I don't see any of our stuff.
Daughter Julia says, when everyone talked about quitting during the same week.
That's insane.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of that during the pandemic too, right? Like they'd be like, sorry, this Wendy's is closed because we all walked out.
Yeah. Yes, we did. It was a little bit crazy. Katie Cheesecakes, she was on here a couple times, says, when my own personal health and happiness was completely compromised.
Yeah.
She's only ever quit one job without notice, and that was because I was being horribly mistreated by management.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, and like I said, that's a bridge that you're not going to want to cross again. And if it was that bad and upper management realizes it, they're going to ask you to come back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And Katie, Truly Italy, says, when I was burned out and hated being at a computer all day.
She just wanted to go back to Italy.
That's exactly what I said. I said,
we know you
so
just wanted to
jealous.
go back to Italy, Katie. You were like, F this place. I'm out.
Get a hold of Katie. Go to Italy, everyone.
I want to get a hold of Katie and go to Italy.
Johnny, we're figuring
damn
that
it.
out. We're figuring that
We're
out.
going to Italy.
I think we missed the like sale she has or the dollars off discounts, but yeah.
Yes.
That's okay. I'll pay $300 more to go to Italy, okay?
It's all Johnny's fault.
Sarah, 2 Chicks Talking Flicks, said couldn't physically do it anymore. They were giving them less hours with more things to do. They had a hiring freeze. We know all about that. She was unloading trucks by herself, getting hurt, slinging heavy totes and pallets twice a week. That's not great.
Yeah.
Lots of back pain. And then Diane says more respect and then more money for her new job.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we touched on as well. And then I love Drew's response. Hi, Drew.
Hi, Drew.
Once was for a better schedule. The second time was to follow my passion. I never felt pushed from a job, only pulled to a new direction.
I love that for you, Drew.
I love that.
Because Drew is literally in his perfect job right now.
Yes, he is. And Christine also said when it didn't bring her joy, this dreading going in.
Yeah.
Nivek, my nephew, said when I found out my boss was taking credit for my work, when he would interact with upper management.
That is the worst.
I think I remember him telling us about that. And
I think I would have to send an email and be like, oh, and by the way, I did this, this, and this. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Later. Marcella said, not respected in your position and it's affecting your employees.
Yeah.
That's like the ripple effect, I call it.
Right. Because that's they hear upper management talking shit about you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like your whatever you want. I don't want to say employees, but your team members, whatever you want to say, then they have no respect for you.
Yep.
Or they come and tell you because they have no respect for upper management because sometimes they're dicks.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Jenna says when a better opportunity with more creative freedom and a better work-life balance presented itself. Go see them up at Poppy Cakes.
Yes.
Sammy says when I was going home and crying. Also driving home and swearing and just angry in general.
Do you know the other day I drove home over an hour and I never even turned on the radio?
Oh, wow.
That's like psychopath shit.
That's,
yeah. Because I was just so overwhelmed. We have a lot of shit going on right now at work. I always say there's maybe 3 times a year that I really don't like my job.
Right.
I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. Yeah. It's just there's so much going on. And my bosses are very understanding. They'll be like, hey, I know you're not going to get to this anytime soon, but can you throw it on the back burner? And it's can I throw it in the dishwasher and get to it a month from now? It's not going anywhere on this stove. This stove is full, Send me an email reminder in a month and a half,
Megan says that hers was because she received a pay cut with more responsibilities.
That is also the worst.
Do you do that? So let's just tell everyone there should be no pay cuts.
No pay cuts.
There's not enough people working. They should be
Right.
paying people more
And
to be
companies
staying.
are making more money than ever. They
Yeah.
have had record profits for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jason D said, too much to type out. And Jason S says when it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And then Doug says when you know you're not getting paid for what you're worth.
Yeah. Know your worth.
Yeah,
We've said
know
that a million
your
times on here.
Worth. Yeah. And then Jennifer Jorgensen says when my boss misquoted her own change to an SOP, that's standard operating procedure, and insisted I was remembering incorrectly, totally screwed up accounting for 6 months. She updated her resume.
God.
Yep. Denise said, there was a lot of people. There's a lot here. So if you're listening to all of this and you're hearing that this is you, it's time to go
time
update
to
your
go.
resume and it's time to go. Denise says, when I asked to work remote full time and the boss said they couldn't trust any of the employees to do that.
That's disgusting.
No, get with the times.
You know what? And how much time do you kill in the office?
Yeah.
So much time is killed in the office.
Yep.
Like, yes, you can kill time at home. And we laughed at all the funny TikToks of people hooking up chopsticks to their fan to keep their mouse moving and shit like that. But honestly, you know why? Because you get 40 hours, I'm doing air quotes, 40 hours worth of work done in about 5 hours. And it's at home or in the office.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, don't tell my boss that.
All you
I'm working on
workers.
the train on the way there. I'm working on the train on the way home.
You're wiggling your mouse.
I'm answering
the
the
train.
phone this morning 3 hours before I log in. So I think I get close to 35 at least.
All right.
Kelly says when it was taking over her home life, that's huge. When you're stressing. So I also had that happen.
But what about when
Saturday
they keep sending
afternoons.
shit to my house? Is that considered taking over
Yeah,
my home
that sucks.
life?
Yes, absolutely.
I went to open the front door today and a package falls out from between the screen door and the front door. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
More stickers.
What is this? Stamp coupons.
Coupons, that's funny. That reminds me, 1 year, a few years ago, I was running a race. Did I mention this before?
I don't know.
I was running a race and my phone started to ring and I was so committed to the people that would call me
Ew.
that I answered it.
Ew.
And he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm running a race." I think I was in the mountains somewhere. I said, "I'm running a race." And he goes, "Oh, all right. So when you're done with that,
Ew.
and on Monday morning, could you blah, blah, blah? Yeah, could you text that to me? Because I'm not stopping what I'm doing." And he texted me and emailed me. And then Monday morning called me at 6 a.m. He did ask me how my race was.
Sick.
But yeah.
I would have never even answered
I know,
that phone call.
I know. I don't anymore. And then one more. And then Lauren said when she started her last job, she knew something just didn't feel right. So I think that just says it all. Like, you know, like if you have the instinct of this just isn't settling with me. I know there's go on Facebook. She has the story there, but I think that first line says it all. Something just didn't feel right. Time to move on.
I really have serious jobs. I've had 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Waitressing, bartending, working at a grocery store, and then my job now. So 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have enjoyed all of those jobs.
Yes, that's amazing. I have enjoyed all of mine as well.
Yeah. Even if it didn't end well or bad stuff happened or I got sick and tired of it, I got, bartending, that's a lot of drama,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad it was my husband that really was like, get out of there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I going to do? I make such good money. Like,
right.
He's like, I don't care. If I have to pay your car insurance until you find a new job, go get a different job.
He saw it in you that you were pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So 3 and 4 says you feel undervalued and you feel unmotivated.
Oh,
I feel like those go together.
Yes.
Because there's nothing worse than feeling like your hard work doesn't mean very much.
Yeah. The unmotivated, I can totally get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just don't want to go. You don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Sit there and stare at a blank computer screen for 3 hours because you're just like, F this,
I drove up to a store once and sat in the parking lot and thought, I probably should just call off. Like, I was mentally not ready.
Those are the days I wake up and I text the boss and I go, yeah, I'm taking a paid day.
Not going to happen.
And I go back to bed.
I actually texted someone on the team and I'm like, do you ever just sit in your car in the parking lot and not walk into the store? And he's like, I'm doing it right now.
There's been days.
So we talked each other into going in.
You know what's the worst? Okay. I mean, that's pretty bad. That's probably the worst. But you know what also sucks? Is when you get to the store and you go to get out of the car and it starts pouring rain.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn it. Now I'm going to be wet all day with wet shoes and,
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that.
Number 5 on their list is you notice a high turnover rate. So you may not be able to see that during an interview, but there's nothing wrong. I mean, they say at the end of an interview, do you have any questions? You can say, who is your longest standing employee? Like, how many years have they worked here?
I would never think to ask that.
You can, though.
Never. Yes. Yes.
You can. I think I did once at an interview. I think it was for like Target or something. And I could sense that something wasn't like right, with the store. And I asked them that. I said, who's your longest standing employee? And she was like, what does that mean? I go, 10 years, 12 years? And she's like, I don't know. We got a couple fivers. And I was like, oh
my
no.
gosh.
And I knew that store had been open for a long time. Yeah. Like
Jeez.
5 years. That's it. That's it.
I mean, that You always talk about when you went into our old place and you were like, it's always the same people.
That's
and
why
I
I
work here.
Yes, I tell that story
and
all
there
the time.
is still people there.
Still.
Not many.
Yeah, there are a
but
lot of new
there's
faces.
Still some
that is
people
exactly
there.
why I did it. How many ever years ago? The more we record this, it gets longer and longer away.
Yeah.
But I just, and for a whole year, I did not have a job. I could not find anything, and we would shop there because it was the only thing that we could do to like keep us happy. We would take the kids there. And I'm looking around. I'm like, we've been shopping here for like a year or two, and it's all the same people at this front end. We knew their names. They knew us.
Yeah.
They knew the kids. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it here. And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have met you.
I know.
Our bestie.
I know.
Or my other bestie.
I know.
I met so many people there.
We have made these decisions in life for a reason.
Yeah, we really do.
Led us to where we are today.
I would like to say it's one of my best decisions when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yep.
So it also gives you some know what to do before quitting. So talk to your supervisor, see if there's any opportunities for growth, see if there's any kind of middle ground.
If you get along with them.
Yeah. Identify your ideal job, right?
Yes.
Where do you want to go?
Yes.
And I would like to add that if you absolutely have to pay bills, like if you haven't saved anything or can't save anything, don't quit until you find something new. I mean, obviously, if you're getting hurt or if it's mentally just not
then you
working
hire a
out.
lawyer.
Yeah, with that, yes. Okay, yeah, that's a completely different. That's next week's episode.
When to hire a lawyer.
Yeah, but yeah, identify your ideal job. Get your resume in order if you think you're going to need it. Save money. Right? Just in those few weeks, just for the transition, because what happens is you get your last paycheck and then it might be 2 weeks until you get your new one. Or if that job just doesn't work out and you either have to go back to the old one or find a new one, you may have 4, 5, 6 weeks in between. Who knows? So, and then it says quit with professionalism if you can. 2 weeks if you can. I gave a month. At every job, I gave 4 weeks.
I gave 2 weeks at my last job and I was on vacation for one of those weeks.
A lot of people do that.
And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. I gave 4 weeks, and then actually, after I left, I stayed and did weekends.
Ew.
Yep. To keep
Meredith,
insurance.
You're so gross on this
I would
episode.
go and run Frozen.
Oh God, I
to
do
keep
remember that.
To keep my insurance for 4 weeks until mine kicked in the new month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I'm tired
blessed.
just thinking about it.
I feel pretty blessed I didn't have to do that. Because my boss did well, don't you want to work here on Sundays only? And I was like, that's the exact reason I am not working
and
here
I'm like,
anymore.
that sounds like an amazing idea. Amazing opportunity. Thank you.
I was like, hell no, even if I hate it over there, I'll find a different job. I am not coming back to this hellhole.
It says keep things peaceful. Don't burn your bridges. We already talked about that. Give 2-week notice. Tell your boss first. I told you first.
Was I the first one to know?
Yeah, for this one.
Oh.
I called you. I was like, don't hate me.
You're like, are you sitting down? And I'm like, no, hold on. Fuck, why? Am I fired? You're like, no, I'm leaving. What?
You were so happy for me.
I was very excited for you.
Oh, gosh. I was like almost in tears. I'm like, she's going to be so mad at me. And then the last one is maintain a positive attitude if you can. And actually, really, if you think about it, if you're maintaining a positive attitude, you're just doing it for yourself.
Right.
If you have a negative attitude, if you're constantly like, well, that's my luck, it's bad on your body and and your soul and your heart and your mind. So really, maintaining the positive attitude is not for anyone around you. It's for you.
Yeah.
So
people do read you around you, but everybody makes their own, right?
yeah.
So, yeah. If we could all be positive together, the world would be a better place.
Yep. And if you want to use us for references, just put our names down.
Shit.
Don't
you
do
gotta
that.
warn us, though, okay? I'll be like, who? Michelle who? Oh, that bitch? Yeah, she was great worker. Always showed up on time. 10 minutes early every day.
Done. Just record that and yeah.
There you go.
Onto your phone.
Put it as your voicemail.
All right, well, that's it.
Yeah.
That was good.
Cool.
Good one. For just winging it. We winged it.
I am.
Is it wung it or winged it? Or we wing it?
Winged it.
We winged
it. Not wung it.
Did we wang it? Wung it?
Wung it? Wang it? Oh. Oh, Meredith.
All right, go buy some merch, bitches.
Ooh, Zazzle? Is that where they're going?
Go buy a shirt.
Yeah.
Or if you want some stickers, reach out to us. I have a lot of stickers. I
I'm
will send
taking
you
those
one.
bitches to Florida.
Oh,
so.
well. I'm going to get some more stickers.
Yeah.
So if you want stickers, just send us a message.
Stickers are going
Yeah,
everywhere.
and then just show us
this
proof
weekend.
of where you stuck them.
Yeah.
Is it stuck or sticked?
Stuck.
It's not wing.
Show us proof of where you sticked them. No, yeah, stuck them. Where you hung them up at. Where you put them.
Anyways, talk to you next week.
All right, bye.
Bye. Wait, we're back. Listen to this.
You gotta know when to hold them.
When to hold them.
Know when to fold
When
them.
to fold them.
Know when to walk away. Know when to run. You never count your money while you're sitting at the table.
There'll be time enough for counting.
When the game is done.
When the dealing's done.
Oh, when the job is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by NameTag Productions, LLC. Entire podcast, unless otherwise stated, written by the hosts. The Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. If we have to be all in this together, we might as well make it fun.